Hello and welcome to this Warhammer 40k City Bases tutorial with me, Xenovids. So here they are, some city bases I've knocked up at low costs and very easy to add any element of imagination that you have for a city base. These are the basics of how to make a city base. You can of course add your own with grass tufts or debris. So start off, you get your 40k base and find yourself some cork material. I got mine from a local hardware store, and most hardware stores do cork tiles and cork material. So it's really easy to use this material. All you do is cut some out and then you can just tear the sides off. Very easy to break, and it produces this rigid and dynamic looking edges which looks a lot better than just a straight cut piece of cork. And you can layer them up on top of one another as much as you want, or just have a single layer. So what I like to do is do a quick design. Sorry about the bad sketching, but design some city bases, some with floor painting to suggest a road, and some with pipes. So first thing to do is to stick down your base level of cork. Now I use super glue to do mine, but a good strong glue is advised. Now once that the glue has set, dried, you need to get yourself some PVA glue or any glue that dries clear. Because for this one, what we're going to do is filling all the gaps on the base with the glue, and then we're going to use sand to form the small stones or rubble that have fallen off and that the larger pieces of concrete have landed on. Now it's up to you if you want to have glue on top of the concrete. If you do, it does add an extra texture, but if you wanted to paint details onto the concrete, it does make it a little bit more difficult. So easy enough, just wipe away the glue from the top of the concrete, or keep it on to add an extra layer of texture to your fallen rubble. Making sure, of course, none of the sand gets on the side of the base and it is all clean. When the glue is set, what I've done, I primed the base black. I used Games Workshop Chaos Black, but any black primer should be fine. Now the shiny bit you can see on this base is where I've left it completely free of sand. Now I get my grey paint. I've used Citadel range of Dawnstone, and all you do is get your dry brush, get a little bit of the paint on, wipe most of it off so there's hardly any left on it, and all you do is just dry brush onto the base itself. Now with the textured section, it will look really nice, as if it's fallen on top of rubble and the sand's flown up and landed back on itself. But with the shiny base on the left there, I've left that completely blank, which enables me to think of any special details I want to put onto the rubble. So already with the first layer of dry brushing, it's clear to see that it's starting to look like part of a grey building has fallen down and looks good. So here's a little comparison of a couple of dry brushes compared to the black primer. So here I am just dry brushing the second one, and as you can see, the area that hasn't got any sand on becomes very prominent, which again allows you to play around and have fun with if you want to do any road markings or any details of like a smoke ash effect, or if you want to do blood splatter. Leaving these areas open enables you to do that. Now remember, when the dry brush, getting in both sides, not just the top layer, but coming in at all different angles to get as much dry brushed as you can, because it's all worthwhile in the end. And so here we have one of the bases up to one of my designs, almost matches it, but what I've got left to do is some road markings, painting on top of it. So I get my white paint, because I want to do some white road markings. Again, I use the ceramite white from the Citadel range. Any white should be fine, even acrylics. So I get one of my fine detail brushes, get some white paint on, wipe the excess off, because I only want a thin layer to do the initial markings. So on this base, I'm just going to do a simple street road marking, as if you have a white line down the centre of the road, like in the United Kingdom. Now with this base there is some sand and rubble texture on top of this concrete, so painting is a little difficult. So what you'll see in it is a couple of stages of how I have tackled this problem. But there we have a simple, plain, basic white line road marking. Now, a good way to do white on as a road marking on top of the grey is to water the white down a little bit and build up the layers that way to get a clean finish. So with the other base, which has a more exposed concrete, I've decided to go with a different kind of road marking and try a shape. And the type of road marking I'm going with is a pointing triangle, pointing straight ahead of it. So here is the finished triangle and the straight line road marking. Now what I like to do next is to get a couple of washes on, using a dark brown wash and a black wash. I'm using Agrax Earthshade and Known Oil from the Citadel range. And what I do, I get my brush and I dip it in both of the washes and just smother it on. What this will do, it will go into the recesses of all the grit and sand and making the top layer a little bit more prominent, and also darkens the white road marking a little bit, because of all this rubble and dirt and scenery around. Dirtying it up will give it a dirtied wash effect, if there's been dirty puddles, or just an extra level of accuracy to how it would look in a ruined city. Now already you can see it's darkened down quite a lot. And just smothering it on to get the second base. It's always good to try and get a nice even coat as well, so it doesn't blotch up. Now here it is with the wash starting to dry, so I get myself a cotton bud, or in America it's called a Q-tip I think, and you just like to take some of the wash off the white, just so you have more of the prominent colour showing. And then finally what I like to do is get a bit more grey and dry brush the tiniest amount of grey on the brush, and dry brush over it again, edging those highlights. And also if there's any sand and grit where you've painted on a marking, it will show the grey up on the sand and leave the white underneath. And there we have it. 2 city bases of simple design, taking no longer than about 15-20 minutes, not including gluing time and drying time. But you can add anything to this using your own imagination, using grass tufts, debris, or whatever you like. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment and share. I'll see you on the next video.